Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, episode 9, if I'm not mistaken, and I am indeed not. It is episode 9. Right. What can we expect from it? Perhaps a continuation of the little battle, of the little competition that's underway at the moment at the academy. That seems to be the most likely thing. But yeah, let's talk about the previous episode first, maybe. In the previous episode, what happened actually? Well, the competition started by Tullio Rossi, who wanted to see who is the best, the strongest first year among all of them. So he thought, hey, let's start a competition. Let's give everybody who is willing to fight a couple of medals, and if you lose to anybody else, you give them your medal, and whoever has the most medals at the end wins and is deemed the strongest first year. So that's essentially our little tournament arc, but not a tournament arc, right? It's not like a school tournament arc, which is something very common in Magical Academy shows. This show takes another opportunity to do a little bit of a switcheroo to shake up the Magical Academy genre a little bit, and we have a competition. We have a competition arc, we have a tournament arc, but it's unofficial. Anybody can challenge anybody to a fight at any time they want. So that's interesting. That's for sure interesting. Of course, Nanao joins the competition because she wants to fight strong people. Of course, Oliver joins as well. Oddly enough, Shella also joins us, which is nice. I would really like to see her fight. She... What did I want to say even? I guess I wanted to say in general that secondary and background characters are very often just excluded from the important things, from the important events. This time around we have Shella, a secondary character to Oliver and Nanao, of course, join in the competition, and that's nice. And I would really like to see her fight because she has the upbringing of a young Ojo-sama, and she of course knows how to fight. It's probably part of her upbringing after all. She's a sword combat nerd, just like Oliver. They've been arguing about the best method, the best school for Pete to use, etc., etc., etc. So I really like the characterization people other than Nanao and Oliver get, because it's not often we see that. Speaking of Pete, Pete, a little bit goaded by Tullio Rossi, decided that he wants to learn how to fight properly, and thus Shella and Oliver are teaching him. Oliver teaches him the defense, I believe, while Shella teaches him the offense, because Shella prefers the offensive school, Oliver prefers the defensive school, so Pete will be taught a mixture of both. And of course, the episode ended, kinda sorta, with Oliver meeting with his cousins, not to discuss the next target, not to talk about some great prophecy that's coming into life, not to even push the narrative forward. They've met for some tea and crumpets because they are cousins, they are friends, so of course they want to hang out every now and then, and that's great, and I love it. And of course we also learned that one of Oliver's cousins, is she listed on the list of characters? I don't think she is. She knows Ophelia from back when they were both first years, but somehow the contact was broken, and we have a nice little little germination of another plot line that might go somewhere, might not go anywhere. We'll see about that. I really like it. I really like how such an, offhand comment about the background characters has the potential to spawn a brand new storyline for us to follow. And we finished with Oliver fighting Tullio in the labyrinth, and Oliver, of course, winning, but, and that's a very interesting part, not really feeling good about winning. Because Tullio was using his own technique, his own skill that he himself developed. Not something he read about in a book, not something he was taught by a teacher, something he himself developed. And he lost, sure, of course, but it was his technique. Oliver, meanwhile, won not through his own merit, the way he sees it, but rather through the merit of people who came before him, of people who created those techniques and mastered them and taught them to Oliver. None of Oliver's combat was his own. And that's a very, very interesting approach to the topic of using some, pre-existing school of magic, fighting, combat, whatever. You really, really don't see that often. I'm fairly sure never, actually, would be the more apt way to put it. I don't think I've ever seen someone who would be dissatisfied about mastering some technique. Right? Usually being able to master some technique and follow through it without a hitch is seen as something entirely and wholly positive. Right? Oh, I mastered the Bogdanov technique and I was able to execute it perfectly. It's a reason to be proud of yourself. I've never seen it framed the way it was framed in this show, where it's something, cool, I learned it, I know how to do that, but it's not mine. I didn't create it, so I cannot take any pride in it. It's great, and I wonder where it's going to go. I really do. I hope it goes somewhere. I hope it goes perhaps to Oliver, maybe creating his own technique. That would be great. That would be great. Oliver becoming friends with Tullio is also something I kind of hope for, right? Oliver teaching Tullio the actual proper quote-unquote techniques, so that Tullio can be a more well-rounded fighter, having his own technique, but also knowing the pre-established ones to know how to possibly counter them. That's great. I love it. That was easily my favorite part of the episode. I wanted to say again that, Oliver is dissatisfied with not using his own technique, but I would be just spinning in circles and I can talk endlessly about it and never say anything new. So perhaps I should just stop it. And of course, at the end, not Oliver, Tullio was ambushed by some other student who wants his medals, and that's where it cut off. So perhaps in today's episode we will see Tullio in a hospital bed, or Tullio going to Oliver saying, "Hey, yo, I lost to another fight. Maybe you could." Not like I want you to or anything, Baka, but maybe you could teach me some combat methods. That would be nice. And there was that weird scene with Teresa and Oliver, like, oh, I can be your something to hone your sword, which could be understood as, hey, you haven't killed anybody in a good time, maybe you're forgetting the bloodlust, please kill me. And from what you guys say in the comments, it could also be understood in a sexual way, right? Oh, yeah, Oliver, hone your sword in me. Like, I don't know, it was a weird scene. It was a really weird scene. But it happened. It happened. For sure. So, again, what's going to happen in today's episode? I don't know. besides the continuation of the tournament arc, perhaps the finale, perhaps we're going to sum up everybody's medals, see who's the winner. It's probably going to be either Nanao or Oliver. But I think we have like still an episode worth of the tournament. So maybe today's episode will be all about it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much they are willing to skip compared to the source material. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. I think I said my piece. So I think all that's left is to just watch this episode, right? And to do that, you will need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. And I'm gonna have to ask you for your support. Support the channel monetarily if you want on Patreon down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cost nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 9 of Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, it's playing. Is Pete turning again? Yeah, he's turning again, it seems. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he had a fight with someone and got poisoned or something. I have no clue. Wouldn't be really, you know, off-brand for the show for Pete to just be sneakily poisoned. Right, wasn't the title of today's episode something about, like, town or city or exploration or something like that? Because I remember I talked in the previous episode about, like, never being anywhere outside of the school grounds besides the first episode. I'm not sure, honestly. If I can't remember it, then it wasn't, you know, it wasn't important. Yeah, Pete is changing? Maybe? I think. Yeah, I think so. Oh, it was just Pete, like, overexerting himself? Is that what it is? Like, overexerted himself to the point where it fucked with his mana flow and whatnot. And pregnancy? Is Pete pregnant? I don't know, man. Okay, so it is the effects of the change. Administer head pats. You didn't mind it though, Pete, did you? Okay, so he's still keeping it a secret, gotcha. Well, kinda sorta. Tulio clearly knows what's up. And everybody takes it in stride. A bra? Is she going to adjust his uterus? Womb? Not uterus. Uterus is something else. The womb. Okay, that's interesting. So Pete can have an additional mana storage. Okay. So do like women in this world have an innate advantage in that they can store more mana in their body? That's cool. That's interesting. I mean, probably, yeah. Hello, Tulio. I was afraid you're gonna die in the labyrinth, but thankfully not. Okay, I like Tulio. I really like him. He's an interesting character. When did that happen? Oh, during the Chella's father's class. Right. Pete read more than her, and that's a humiliation. Okay. No, Pete is anything but ordinary, I'll have you know. Yeah, keep your cool, Pete. That really seems to be his biggest issue. Judge the range properly. Judge the range, Pete. We've learned that in the previous episode. That's how you do it. Yeah, Pete is way too hot-headed for his own good. That's what she's hung up on, of course. Such a petty thing to be angry about. I mean, it's fair to underestimate him because he hasn't really shown any particular skill yet. Okay, misjudged the range. Pete did. It's interesting about Pete that he's so hot-headed. Like, usually it would be Guy who's the hot-headed one, who's, wailing randomly with his sword and getting angry. And Pete would be the, calm and collected and studious one, right? Oh, you used the Bulgarian opening. Haha. You're losing, right? another like swapped thing. Hello, Tulio. Okay. Tulio exhibiting some character growth. That's cool. I like it. I was hoping for it, and I got exactly what I was hoping for. Well, almost. I would like it if it was Oliver to teach him, but this is fine too. What are you getting yourself into now, Katie? And what do you intend on workshopping? Okay, they're gonna have their own little secret base. That's fine. Uh, Deaths of magical creatures? Yeah. I mean, you're not going to change shit if you die on road to your workshop. So, I mean, okay, asking for help, that's fine. As long as there is someone going to the workshop with Katie at all times, at least for as long as Katie can hold her own ground. I guess that's a solution. Of course. Olivier? So count me in. Okay, that's good. I was afraid that, like, his dark side is going to stop him from hanging around with friends, that he's going to remember, like, someone telling him, oh, the path of vengeance means you can never have friends or something like that, but no. He's hanging around. Yeah. You had a run in with Ophelia and Cyrus. There is, like, a lot of walking to get to that workshop. Of course. At least you know that she knows her way around the labyrinth, right? Traps, traps. That certainly seemed big enough to kill a person. Upperclassmen, monsters. A trap. Okay, even worse. What kind of a trap, though? At least you're alive. You have healing magic. Food? Food! Whomst. Random students feasting on some meat in the maze? Okay. Okay, sure. Labyrinth Gourmet Club. Okay, they're eating the monsters. That's cool. We dungeon meshy now. We're legit dungeon meshy right now. That's great, actually. I love it. In a world where you have healing magic and potions and antidotes and whatnot, would you not go around trying to eat all sorts of weird shit? Of course you would. Yeah, he was eating monsters. Look around. And who are you? Labyrinth guide? A merchant, okay. A legit merchant. I love it. I love it. Just a dungeon merchant. That's a nice adventurous tune. Shut the door. They cleaned it out. There's none of what Vera had left in here. Okay, a base for expeditions. Probably a good idea. Okay, that bit of like sheltered Ojo-sama is kind of breaking through. She's not like a complete reversal of the trope. The 6 spell blades, maybe. Olivier and friends. Huh? Some ritual of bonding? Okay. So your group is called the Sword Rose or something, probably. Okay, that's nice. Sword Roses, sure, why not? Because they can't think. Everybody's is. Yeah. Okay, now spread that name far and wide throughout the academy. That's ominous. Is this... Oh, for a moment I thought it's a different ED, but no, it is the very same. I really like the concept of the labyrinth, I find. It really adds a whole lot of potential to this series. Also, I wonder if there's any plans or potential for sure, but any plans or something to possibly make a game out of it? It would really work well as a game, wouldn't it? Not even having to involve the characters of the show, but just the world itself. Having the labyrinth be the dungeon levels where you go for materials, and then school life in the meantime, right? Oh, after credits. Whomst? Oh, Chala's cousin. Explore. Next time, Master and Knight. Shala's cousin and Faye. Master and Knight, probably. Probably. Okay, that was a cool episode. I really liked it, so how about we watch it again, shall we? This was certainly a bit of a slower episode, less, uh, heart pumping, so to speak, but it was cool. It was nice. I liked it. Although I expected there to be a direct continuation of the tournament arc, right now the tournament arc kinda, was sidelined a little bit. But I guess that's also fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind the tournament arc being sidelined, because that makes it a more, how should I say it, a more persistent thing, right? That in a way where it's not just an arc that starts, continues, and ends, but rather it's a change to the state of the world, so to speak, right? That right now the tournament is ongoing, sure, somewhere in the background, but in the meantime, life goes on. Things continue as they were. There are still classes, friends still meet, go for barbecues and whatnot. That's cool. I like it. I actually do. Adjusting mana flow, some nice fan service. You really don't see those boobs when Pete wears his robes, do you? Is he wearing a binder, or is there like a Brestus Deletus spell or something? I'm not sure. Noel was helping someone with pregnancy pains during birth. His mother? Does Noel have a sister? Did he have a sister? I really need to find a better place for this notebook. I know, maybe somewhere like a little shelf underneath my desk or something. Where is it? Magia record. Undead Girl Murder Farce, Zone 100, Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru. Oliver has / had a sister. Perhaps she was stillborn for some reason. Perhaps the pregnancy failed. Perhaps she was born but later killed. Perhaps she was born but later kidnapped. Something must have happened. Or maybe it's not Oliver's mother. We don't really know who it is. But of course, my first thought goes towards Oliver's mother. There's the voice. I'm not gonna be able to recognize this voice, so I'm not even gonna try to figure out whose voice it is. It'll keep happening until your body gets used to the change. That's instinct. That's instinct. You see a creature like that, you have the urge to pat it, of course. It's going to be hard to keep it a secret, yep. And absolutely nobody has any issues with it. Hey, yo, cool! You're a reversi, that's great, that's amazing. Congratulations. Apparently, a womb is called a witch's second heart that can store mana. And that really makes me wonder about the differences between men and women in this world. Because usually the assumption is that they are equal, roughly, right? There aren't at least any major differences. Men in a magical academy kind of a situation, for the most part, can use magic, girls can use magic, boys can use magic, girls can fight, boys can fight. Boys may be a little bit stronger, but girls have a little bit better technique, but more or less they are equal. I'm not talking about Magical Academy shows where it's, like Infinite Stratos, where everybody is a girl except that one singular man who somehow is able to use the magic technology, whatever bullshit. Usually there aren't really any differences. This tells me there are. We already know that girls in this world and women have a reserve of mana. So potentially they can fight, they can use their magic for longer periods of time. Is it just a straight up advantage? Or are there any other ways that that sexes differ magic-wise in this world? Is perhaps, I know, do men have stronger magic but lesser mana reserves? Or, I know, something like that. I'm not sure, I'm just, spitballing here. But that's interesting. That's interesting, and I really like it because it again shows just how deep overall this story goes, and this world in particular goes. Most Magical Academy kind of shows, and not just Magical Academy, but also other shows similar to them, don't really go that deep. Usually world building when it comes to magic stops at magic is a thing, and people can use them with their wands. People can use it with their wands, and there are spells, and you can have a lot of power or a little power, and if you have a lot of power, you can cast strong spell, and if you have little power, you can only cast weak spell, and that's the extent of it. Sometimes there might be some, bullshit theory weaved into it of how magicycles move through the air, and with your chance you condense magicycles on the tip of your wand, and that fires off the spell. But usually it stops there. It never goes any particularly deeper. This show, this world, goes really deep. Differences between sexes. That's why reversi is such an important, such a powerful trait to have as well, because you have at your disposal strong points of both sexes, assuming men have some strong points over women, which is not a given. They might not. I really like it. I really like how deep the rabbit hole goes. And of course, Katie is ecstatic to perhaps be able to dress up Pete in some lacy clothes. There has to be fan art of Pete wearing like lacy dresses. 100% there is. All, embarrassed, red as a tomato. I really like Tullio. I really like him. I wasn't sure if he's going to be an antagonist or an enemy or what. No, he's just this, random guy who's kind of a friend, kind of not, kind of wants to fight you, kind of doesn't. I like him. I like him a lot. I've been on a losing streak. I'm done. And some of those fellas are real bad news. I was hoping that maybe we will have a fight with such bad news, but no. This show is a little bit more spaced out, so probably we know that an important fight will happen in the next episode with Shella's cousin, whose name eludes me. Perhaps this will continue until the finale. Maybe even. I wouldn't discount that possibility. I really wouldn't. I'm not sure what would be an appropriate finale at this point, honestly. Well, the obvious thing seems that getting rid of another teacher would be a good fit for a finale, but I'm honestly not sure. It doesn't have to be that. She's so incredibly petty. This is cool. I really like this characterization of Pete. As I said during the course of the episode, usually the member of the party, the member of the group who has glasses and is everywhere going with a book and reading and is studious, is the calm and collected one, right? And the red-headed muscle head, kind of a muscle-brained guy is the hot-headed and one. This is not it. Guy is very calm. He doesn't fit the archetype of a muscle head, essentially. He notices that, hey, you can use spells, you can do this, you can do that. You can do it, Pete. Meanwhile, Pete is like, fight, 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 stab, 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 fuck, I missed, Tonitrus, 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 Tonitrus. Right? I like it. Another way in which this show reverses, or at least changes, the tropes a fair bit. You read every volume, you say? You embarrassed me in front of Uncle Theodore. Cornwallis is her name. Cornwallis. Pete managed to evade, but not quite enough range, alas. Centimeters. Yes. Why? I'm not entirely sure why there is bad blood between Cornwallis and Michela, but apparently there is. A loss is a loss. Tulio comes in. Hey, you did better. You did good, right? You did well. I really like Tulio. I hope nothing happens to him. And I like that he goes through character development. I guess let's give those traditional schools a shot. Why not? You beat me with a traditional school, Olivier. There is some truth to what you said. Let's give it a shot. Fuck it, why not? I really like him. And now we go to Milligan's old workshop. I really like the concept of the labyrinth. I really like it because it gives us almost a parallel world, almost an alternate reality kind of sort of deal. Right? Like there's a school, and school is regulated and whatnot. Well, maybe not this one, but usually. And then there's this Underdark. There's that weird world underneath the school on a completely different plane of reality where all sorts of things can happen. It's not as regulated by the school. There are all sorts of nooks and crannies. If you're a student and you need a place to, I don't know, work on your school project so that nobody steals that idea from you, you can go there. You can go to the labyrinth and do that there. If you want to engage in some weird activities like Monster Barbecue, or if you want to host a party for a secret group like what Pete and Oliver attended, that's your place. If you want to have a workshop, if you want to earn some additional money, this is your place. It kind of like replaces the outside world, right? And that they don't need to venture into the town. They don't need to go hide around in a forest for a secret meeting. They don't need to, I don't know, find some pub that has a private room and then cast a silencing spell on the walls to discuss their battle plans. They have it right here. It's ready-made for them to use. If you can. It's great. I really like the labyrinth. At first, I wasn't sold on that idea. I thought it might be... It, first of all, doesn't really make much sense to, you know, have such a dangerous place be intermingling with school grounds. The other thing was that it kind of cheapens the experience. If you have a place where you can just go and it's completely lawless and whatnot, it kind of takes away that that tension of potentially trying to do something illegal at school because you have a land where laws don't exist at your disposal at all times. But this show convinced me that the labyrinth is actually a good idea. It's actually a good addition, and I like it. I really do. She says it's her way of apologizing. How nice of her. She apologizes for the errors of her ways. This is about the only way for a first year to get a workshop. Unless you can find some other spot in the labyrinth and claim it as yours. Is it a full map of the labyrinth, or are there any paths that still... No, it seems to be a full map of the labyrinth. There don't seem to be any unmapped places. I wonder just how big this labyrinth is. Because you can see some places that could potentially serve as workshops or secret bases and whatnot. I wonder if there's actually a limit to how many of them there are. Because it would be really cool if the labyrinth was basically procedurally generated. That would be amazing. Imagine the possibilities. That would be great. While you're still learning, yeah, the risks of going there outweigh the benefits of having this workshop, but what if everybody joins me? What if I'm not going there alone? What if it's our group's hangout spot? That's a perfect solution. I want to change that, of course. Ever the idealist. Ever the person who wants to bring about positive change. I want a place where I can raise magical fauna without having to answer to anyone. For what purpose, though? Say you raise some ball mice, for example. What are you gonna do with them? Experiment on them? No, that would be unethical. Give them consciousness and the ability to speak? Is that ethical? For what purpose? Do you need a labyrinth? Do you need a lab, a workshop? If not for the same purpose that Vera needed it, I wonder. And yeah, I know I can do it all on my own. That's why I need all of you. There we go. It's my job as a warrior to protect it. I wonder if the title of the next episode might not refer to Cornwallis and Faye, but rather to Katie and Nanao. Right? It's your own castle, so Katie is kind of the ruler, the queen of her own castle, and Nanao is her knight, protecting that castle. Maybe. And someday I hope to be able to see that light illuminate the darkness. And we have the first member of our group. Of course, Chella joins as well. Pete, ever the follower, or so he says. I guess if everybody goes, that I will too. No, you also want to go. You also want to take part in it. And everybody, of course, waiting for Olivier. And I was really afraid that they are going to let the dark side of Olivier, the dark side of this story, seep into here. Because, you know, there's a shadow on Olivier, he's the only one standing in a shadow, right? Everybody else is standing in the sunspot, and Olivier is the only one still standing in the shadow of the column. And this shot from the back with his head completely blacked out with shadow, not showing his eyes. I was fully expecting Olivier to have a flashback to some moment of someone telling him that, oh, you cannot have friends because you will be putting them at risk as well. Or while the fires of vengeance burn in your heart, you can never find a place among other people. You know, the usual edgy bullshit like that. And Olivier would decide that no, he doesn't want to take part in it for some reason. I was really afraid of that happening. But no. He was simply thinking about the possible dangers. And came to a conclusion that, hey, if you can promise to keep it safe, then yeah, what are you waiting for? I'm going with you. Why not? Also, I love that we see Nanao's ahoge in the bottom left corner. That's great. We'll go tomorrow night and stay there overnight if we have to. And now we travel through the labyrinth with Nanao's broom, apparently. And of course, she wants to spend some time with her steed. Makes perfect sense to bond a little. All kinds of scary things, fights with other students, traps, monsters, and whatnot. Nest of bull mice, some bats, some slugs. Slugs can be dangerous. Don't take slugs in your hands. And for all that is holy, do not eat slugs. It will kill you in the worst way possible with fucking brain parasites. There's so many people who got fucking Darwin awarded by eating slugs on a challenge. Please don't. Please never do that. It would be best to like avoid all challenges. They're stupid. You don't need to take part in it. Internet fame or whatever little of it you can get from, I know, taking a spoonful of cinnamon is not worth it. A lot of magical fauna on this route. Yeah, because Katie planned it. But I like it. I like that she did, because it shows that she's not completely clueless. She's not completely hopeless. It's not, you know, allowing her to go into the labyrinth by herself is not innately risky. I guess that's the best way I can put it. In that she will not get lost in the labyrinth. She knows it. She knows the routes. She knows the animals that are around here, or the magical fauna. She knows how to read the map. So at least she is safe in that regard. Whether she would be able to fight off any upperclassmen or any monsters, that's debatable. But she's not going to get lost. Cool, that's good. She's not a princess in distress. A damsel in distress. I was afraid that this is the trope they're going to give to Katie. That, oh, she was kidnapped by Vera and they had to rescue her. Now she got a map and a weird scroll, and she decided to go there alone, and she's gonna have to be rescued again. Right? I was afraid that we're going that direction, but no. Katie is not going to be a damsel in distress. Bow shells. Apparently. This might hurt, but won't kill you. Bitch, this won't kill you. This will kill a person. Not a mage, probably, though, because mages are resilient, we know that. But thankfully there's a special incense that can put them all to sleep. Meanwhile, some weird trap activated. I wonder if it was them who activated it and it simply started up with a delay, or perhaps some other group of students was going through the dungeon and activated it, and the impact force of the trap just followed through the corridors and got to them. I don't know. Thankfully, if you're fast enough, you can mostly avoid the traps. Barbecue. We Dungeon Meshi now. By the way, when is Dungeon Meshi releasing? Let me look it up real quick. I'm super fucking excited for Dungeon Meshi. Dungeon Meshi is releasing in summer 2023? Currently airing? What? No, it's not. Bullshit. Bullshit, it's airing. It's not. July 1st, 2023. No. It did not start airing July 1st. Or did it? And I completely fucking missed it. No, there's just the teaser. Just the teaser. The anime didn't start yet. Well, I was afraid for a moment. Nihilist, maybe you have better info about Dungeon Meshi. January 2024. Thank you. Mal, for some reason, counts the PV as the start of the season for whatever godforsaken reason. Nihilist at least splits it up. So yeah. January 2024. So winter 2024 season. Okay, that's cool. I was really afraid I was gonna miss it, but no, thankfully not. I love the concept of first, I was afraid this is going to be some, I know, their faces were kind of green. I was afraid maybe they are under some spell, maybe some trap, maybe some meat in the dungeon makes you go crazy about it and lose your wits or something. But no, they're just having fun with some barbecue. The Labyrinth Gourmet Club's new member welcoming barbecue. I love it. I found a really big leech. Can we eat this? We have a brave soul among us. Throw it into the fire and see what happens. I love it. I love it. And it makes so much sense, right? As I said, in a world where you have all sorts of antidotes, where you have healing magic, where you have all sorts of other magic, of course there would be people to try out all sorts of weird shit. You get parasites, whatever, parasitus deletus, and you no longer have parasites. Oh, you ate some weird mushrooms that are giving you fucking delirium tremens. Whatever, drink this antidote, you're gonna be fine. It makes so much sense, and I love it. I love it. Otherwise, you'll start vomiting up blood and die, but thankfully, we have the antidote. Do you wanna eat the spider? Sure, fucking go for it, why not? What's the worst that can happen? It's gonna taste bitter. That's the worst. All sorts of weird monsters, I love it. I was expecting a little bit more of a reaction from Katie, not gonna lie. But I guess it was mostly played for a comedic moment, so they didn't want to, destroy it by Katie going full fucking activist mode. The Survivor. He went missing for 6 months in the depths of the labyrinth, and then came back alive after they'd already held his funeral funeral, spent 6 months down here eating monsters. He's fucking Laius. He's just Laius. Is his... No, I thought that his haircut might be similar, but no. No, it's not a reference. As much as I would like it to be. Where will we get the ingredients? At a shady merchant who popped completely out of nowhere. That's great. I love that this labyrinth even has merchants in it. Some monster ham, some carrots, some green juice, all sorts of mushrooms, bok choy, regular cabbage, the white radish, garlic. Potatoes, tomatoes. That's great. I love it. And this is the moment where I realized that this world would make for a really good game. Right? It really would make for a good game. Kinda in the vein of like Harry Potter games, of yore especially, where sure you have your classes that you have to attend and you go dueling mini games and whatnot, but then you also have the ability to delve into the dungeon, to delve into the labyrinth and hunt some monsters for ingredients, right? For your school project, for alchemy, sure, you can use the provided ingredients and make a decent potion, or you can go to the labyrinth, kill some stronger monsters, or harvest some, I know, brown mold from the walls or whatever, add that to your potion, and it's gonna be better, and you're gonna get better grades. Risk-reward system. The dungeon, the labyrinth, also has merchants that you can buy some ingredients from. Maybe there's, you know, a unique labyrinth currency. It has its own economy. It would really be cool as a game. It really would be. I want you to survive and become regulars. Even if you don't, you'll just end up on my store shelves. Maybe. Is she really joking around? How many unfortunate souls are in that crate that Oliver carries? Magical spell, and we have our secret base with some individual rooms and the main chamber. Who cleaned it out? Because that's not how Vera's lab looked. Vera's lab had all sorts of vials and glass containers for specimen and whatnot. Someone had to take it all away, and I wonder who it was. Using it as the base to search the labyrinth. Yeah, makes perfect sense. And some nice food by the campfire. I miss campfires. I really do miss campfires. When I was a kid and I was living in the countryside, kinda sorta, not like fully countryside, but certainly closer to a countryside than a big city. Especially during summer vacation, it was like a weekly event where once a week, at least, or maybe once every 2 weeks, we would meet for either some grill at my place or for a bonfire at my friend's place across the meadow from where I lived, and it was always so fun. It was always so nice, cooking some potatoes in the ashes, cooking some sausages and whatnot on a stick above the campfire, sitting on pieces of bricks and wood and talking the night away. That was great. That was amazing. But then I had to move to a big city, and the best thing I can do is get a grill pan with ribs on it and make myself some steak. And that's a little bit of a not supposition. What's the word? Substitute. Substitute for a grill. And even my friends kind of got rid of the bonfire, of the campfire, because someone purchased the meadow and built a house there, and there's no longer a direct way from my old house to her place, and now she has a gas grill, and it's not the same, man. It's not the same as a campfire. It really isn't. I miss those days, man. I really fucking do. That's why my biggest goal in life, honestly, is to have a house. To have like a freely standing house with a big ass fuck off garden where I can have however many campfires I want. My account disagrees with that dream though, so my bank account. It's gonna take a while, unfortunately. Why don't we give it a name? Our little group of 6. I was really expecting their name to have something to do with 6. 6 spell swords, 6 spell blades, something in that vein. But no. We use the blade to form a circle, to form a sword rose. Oh, I know what bothers me about it. There is 2 points in here, and there's no sword point in here. It's not radially symmetrical, and that bothers me. Sword Rose, a symbol of the bonds between warriors. There is no oath, there is no vow. We just remember the shape, and we just remember the moment. And vows can be broken, but this singular moment cannot. Try their best to burn the present into their minds. Yeah, and this rose we brought together here and now can never be torn apart. We placed our swords together, and whatever happens in the future, it cannot undo it. As I said, vows can be broken. The memory of our swords being together cannot. It's forever. That's cool. I like it. Sword roses. Sure, absolutely, why not? It's a little violent, says Oliver the Butcher. All flowers bloom without the fear of dying. The brief moment we share together will be prouder than any eternity. We are the sword roses. And here is Shella's cousin out for blood for whatever godforsaken reason. I don't know. I can't wait for her to lose. Master and Knight. There we go. That's the episode. That was episode 9 of Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, and it was good. I mean, what else can I say? I really did like it. It built upon the world even more. It gave us some new opportunities with the base. It built the relationships between characters. It gave us some much needed fun moments as well. That was really cool about this episode. All those fun moments with the barbecue, for example. With Guy chasing Pete around. It was a much more light-hearted episode than usual. And honestly, I'm in for it. I really like, in retrospect, I really like that we didn't continue directly the tournament arc. That this episode wasn't just a string of battles. Because it could very easily have been a day in life of Nanao, for example, and Nanao having to fight off challengers at every step, and then, you know, the trope of Nanao just during lunch, for example, telling her friends that, oh, I'm so tired with those constant battles, they aren't even any good challengers, right? It could really go that way, but it didn't. The tournament is still underway, it didn't conclude off screen or anything of the sort, but it's in the background. It's not the current story we're telling, it's not the current storyline, but rather it's the new state of the world. It's a change to the state of the world. The same way Oliver's revenge plot is not something that suddenly became the focus, but rather was added as another layer to the world. Right? We didn't start focusing on it all of a sudden. It's just something that happens in the background, and every now and then it will seep through into our main storyline, and the same goes for the tournament. Every now and then, like in the credits, after credit scene of this episode, it will seep through into our main storyline, and we're gonna have a battle, a single battle or a couple of battles, and then it's going to be back to status quo until the tournament concludes. That's cool. I really, really like this way of storytelling. Very often we like completely switch tracks when something happens, especially in shows like that. When it's time for a tournament arc, the daily school life completely goes to the sidelines, and now it's just the tournament arc. And we never exit the Colosseum for like 3 episodes straight until the tournament arc concludes, and then we go back to the school arc. This is honestly one of the best shows I've seen in recent memory, not solely, but mostly through the sheer fact that it takes a genre that had so much potential, but it always was unused and not even underutilized, but completely unutilized, and does it its justice, utilizes the whole potential of it. It's really not often that you have a show that isn't just a calque of other shows in the same genre, but rather tries to reach the logical conclusion of the given genre, tries to utilize it to its fullest. This is a story, mostly. The story and world, those are the biggest parts of why this show is so great. What was I trying to say? I don't know, man. I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. But yeah, it's good. It utilizes the potential. It didn't have to go this hard, but it did, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I guess that's the way I'm gonna put it. Because they absolutely could have gone for the lowest common denominator and just executed well, and it would be fine, and it would be a fine show. It would make up the money spent for it, and some people would absolutely like it, and it would be around the 6-7 range on Mal. But they weren't satisfied with just that. They went above and beyond. And I really appreciate it. I really like it. But at the same time, what I really like is that it's not a forced trope reversal, right? It's not like taking a trope and completely doing a 180 on it. Just for the sake of reversing that trope. I think I already talked about it, how this show only reverses tropes because it executes them in a realistic way. It's not a spoof. It's not a spin on the topic. It's its own good show in its own right, in its own way, not relying on the wink wink value of haha, we recognize the trope and we did a 180. How'd you like that? Right? That's cool. I like it. I really like this show. But yeah, I've been talking for an hour and 20, so I should probably stop. But maybe you guys, maybe you have something more to add. If so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. Spoilers, go to the Discord here, also linked down below. It's free, open to everybody. Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Nanatsu, Maken, Shihai Suru, but also Magic Record, Undead Girl Murder Farce, Helck, Zom 100, and Atelier Ryza. And I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of that. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to Magic Record and other non-seasonal shows, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful patrons: QB Without the Net, The Corporal Survivor, Yankai, Judith Scurum, MZ, Reina, Commancer, Marsh, Fussel, Dr. Wotuke, Alain, Hans Peter, and you can join them without the need to scour the dungeon.